Well, now this story, balloons are used at birthdays, weddings, graduations and many other special events. But once loose, they can pose a threat to our marine life. To Oceans Aquarium Communications Executive Renée Leeuwner joins us now from Cape Town to discuss alternatives to help save our animals. Renée, a very good morning to you. And I mean, who would have thought we'd be having a discussion about balloons? I mean, balloons have been around forever. What problems are they posing, though? What's the issue?
Okay, so the first thing that we need to keep in mind always is that anything that's single use actually has only one use and then we throw it away. And the second thing that we need to keep in mind with balloons specifically is that balloon releases are actually illegal in South Africa. They're a mass littering event, so they are against the law. With balloons being very light, they actually get blown out into the sea, into the environment, and they end up being mistaken for food by various animals, marine animals, land animals. And we at the aquarium are seeing it more and more coming in from like the turtles that we take in for rehabilitation and so on. They actually have balloons and balloon pieces in them. And when they defecate, that comes out when we finally get them to that point where their guts are moving again. So yeah, it poses a risk to the environment in that it is, they take very, very long to biodegrade. So not only can they kill one animal, but as they are still in the environment, it can go on to kill many more.
And I suppose, you know, us humans will be thinking, okay, so it goes through eventually this animal, marine life, you know, they're going to pass it through. What's the big deal? What's it to us? But of course, there are other cases where, I mean, we know about pollution, we know about marine pollution, and basically what we're eating when we actually eat our fish. So at some point, it's going into our bodies as well. I think we just need to stress what it actually means for us and our health as well. Not to be selfish, but it comes down to what happens to us. Yeah.
So the main thing is that we need to remember about plastics in general is it doesn't break down. So if you put a banana peel on the ground, it will break down and become part of nature again. Plastic, on the other hand, breaks up into smaller and smaller pieces, and it breaks up into the food chain. So you start off with a big piece of plastic or a big balloon, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually it ends up in the food chain. So whether it is a fish that eats it and we eat the fish, or whether it is we catch that fish and we use fish meal to feed the chickens, it ends up with us. So also it has a bioladen, so it can attract other chemicals. Plastic is basically a petrochemical product, so it's made from petrol byproducts. And you know what that smells like. It's full of chemicals. So we have to look at how that impacts us as humans. But I think we should actually firstly look at how it actually impacts the environment around us. We have to keep in mind that the ocean is vitally important for Earth health. So if we don't have a healthy ocean, we don't have a healthy Earth, which means we are not healthy. We won't have a healthy planet to live on.
And I suppose there'll be all those people out there going, but Renée, how can I have a celebration? How can I have a birthday party for my child without balloons? It just won't be the same. I mean, are there some alternatives that you know of maybe?
Well, there are so many alternatives, and you know what's the biggest alternative? Is be creative. Do something special. Look at something that's unique to your party. Make paper chains or, you know, bubbles, environmentally friendly bubbles. You can blow bubbles. So there are quite a few alternatives, but it is obviously specific to what your needs are. Make it special. Look at your child and think, he's a boy, what are we going to do with the boys today that's not balloon orientated? She's a girl, what can we do with the girls? You know, so look at what it is, or just go down the line. Bubbles, I'm always very much in favor of bubbles because they are fun for everyone. And yeah, various other things. And there are so many alternatives. If you just go onto the internet and you look for alternatives for balloons and you have a theme in mind, you'll get so many interesting alternatives, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for that. To Oceans Aquarium Communications Executive Renée Leeuwner. She's discussing the alternatives to help save our marine life. Balloons at the moment posing a hell of a problem and threat as well.